Hopefully this goes correctly. Are we live? Maybe. I don't know.
It says live in the upper right-hand corner.
We are live.
I'm starting to see our faces. Yay!
There's always that delay when something goes on.
Yes, there is. There's always that small delay. Hi, everyone. How are you?
I know. I was trying to do that little start live stream and then put the computer where it's supposed to be.
Hi, Kristen. How's everybody's Wednesday going? Are you excited that it's almost Labor Day weekend? I know I'm super excited for that.
I know. Your school semester just started and you're like, I already want a break. You need the break. You want the day off?
I do already need the break. Like tomorrow I've already told my boss because I've been doing trainings all week. So like Monday I got into work to 133 emails.
Whoa.
So I got into 133 emails. I got through at 7:15. I trained all day. And after that, I still had 100 more emails to answer. And so I told him, I was like, hey, is it cool if I like stay home for a little bit tomorrow and answer all the emails and fix all the things? And he's like, yes. I was like, score.
Oh my goodness. I mean, that is a lot of emails to go through. I give you credit to go parse through all of that.
Yeah, oh yeah. Hi, Riley. Hi, Janine. Happy birthday on Tuesday, Kristen. Hey, Bree. Lady Gizmo.
Oh my goodness, we have a lot of people watching. This is so excited. Who's read the book? Who is ready to discuss the sleuthing goodness? I mean,
so ready. So ready.
I know I asked on Twitter, we had, I think, 4 or 5 stars and 1 or 2 3 stars. So I kind of want to know if you've read it, if you have any ratings or thoughts. So please comment away.
Yeah, I want to know what everybody thought because I want to know what everybody thought. If you follow me on Twitter, you already know what I rated it on Goodreads. Or if you follow my Goodreads, you already know what I rated it.
You were in love with this book. I mean, I enjoyed it. I liked it. I think I gave it in my own little head 3.5, like 3.75. Mm-hmm. So
I really gave it 5 stars.
I enjoyed it. So I think I rounded up and gave it the 4 just because I'm one of those people where like if I like something, I'll just do that. So yeah. Book, people like it, I just round up. That's just my way. I know people round down. Yeah,
I super, super enjoyed it. Like so much so that the moment I finished it, I went and bought the second one on my my Kindle. I bought the second copy.
So what is it about this book that you just love? What was it where you're like, I need to go read this next book now?
When I found out that she was the guardian of the private library, that shot my happiness up. Like it was like, because that's life goals, right? For someone to be like, you are now a protector of rare and expensive and, valuable books. And it just took the mystery to another level. It's like a cozy mystery meets the Tomb Raider. And it's like, bam. And I was like, yes, I had to. I was so excited.
Have you ever seen, TNT actually made it into a TV show, but at first it was, the 2-hour movies, TV made for movies, TV made movies, The Librarians, where they would guard the sacred treasures and, historical artifacts. So it kind of got like the librarian vibes, the TNT librarian vibes from that a little bit.
Yes, that just made it, because I thought that it was, of course, like the first one in the series is always, it's building the characters and it's building the world. But then, like, I loved that one that her twin boys, Fitz and him. Oh my gosh, they had my heart. I am going to say I did listen to this. I listened halfway audiobook and I halfway read this book. So when Aaron and I we have a reservoir and we walk around it a few times a night, or not a night, but like a week. It's like 2.5, 3.5 miles. It depends on which way we go. I've been listening to the audiobook And the audiobook was really, really good. Like she was able to do the voices, and there were so many times that I was cracking up laughing from the things that they were saying to each other.
I loved, I have to admit, again, this is just me. The twin boys were my favorite part of the entire book. I thought they were absolutely adorable when they were in their little safari outfits and they're helping her lead the, Murder Mayhem week. I just thought they were the cutest little things. I just adored them. They were my favorite. I also loved how they were named after literary character, like literature. They had their writer names.
They had their.
I enjoyed that so much.
Yes, you knew they were in trouble when it was Hemingway. Fitzgerald.
We didn't know that at first. First it was Fitz, first it was him, then all of a sudden you see the names and I'm going, oh my gosh. Yes. That was just amazing.
That is goals. That is loyalty to reading and authors and everything.
So I will, so this is interesting. So Bree is also saying you love the private library twist. That for me was where I love the first, quarter, 1/3. And I have questions about her being this private librarian. I have questions about this because in my own little head, I'm kind of wondering, why are these kept separate? They never really answer the question. If you have rare Shakespeare plays that have never been produced or read, distributed, why? I kind of want to know, why are you holding back? Because
they said that they were holding it back due to the fact that wherever it was during the times would have had astronomical negative effects towards society or the author.
Why are they still holding on to it? That was my question. I could understand if maybe during that particular time period there was the revolution, whatever, something was going on.
They made a promise to whoever it was, like Adela Dundee. Adela Dundee said, keep this until I come for it. And then she never came for it. And so they felt upon themselves that they didn't have a right to put that out into the world since it wasn't their material. They were given guardianship over it. It's not their right to share it with the world.
I have very, very mixed emotions about this because, even Emily Dixon, Emily did, oh my gosh, I don't know if you guys can hear the growling and barking. He just nudged my chair. You have these people whose families have published their pieces. And so, as a dog, he's like, hello, this is Nash. There are people who would contribute pieces, post-mortem. And so I kind of didn't get that, especially when you study English and people always, want to put things in context of the canon that someone produced. And so in my head, you're kind of being, a little negative when you're withholding literature from, these people that are admired and influential. For some reason, I just kind of cringed when they were holding on to them. I understand that she's the guardian, but why are they guardian?
Well, and I think that's something that Jane's going to be fighting with, because even in her mind herself, she's like, why are we holding these out of the public? She was asking her aunt, she was asking her uncle, why are these being hidden? And she even stated how it made her upset that those were not there out in the world for everyone to see. And so I think that as I read the second book, I might understand a little bit more where they're going with everything.
Okay, because I don't know, I'll probably pick it up. I'm really curious because that was where, when we started transitioning into her being the guardian, that was where I was starting to lose a little bit of my I don't know, investment almost, because I love the fact that they have the rooms named after authors, the Jane Austen parlor, the
Sorry room.
I loved it. I loved how they did that. I was really invested. Then all of a sudden I was like, is this National Treasure now? What are we doing?
See, to me, in my mind, it just put another level of awesomeness, mostly because this has always been my dream, is to be you are the protector of this. And so I really enjoyed it. I love Tomb Raider. I love Indiana Jones, those kind of things. And then it's all in one. It's I don't know. It was very, very fun for me.
I know. I think maybe I might have to read the second one just to figure out about keeping this separated from the public consumption, because that was where my biggest hiccup, and yes, the dog is still here. That's where my big hiccup was, my little, what's going on? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Again, my English literature side was coming through a little bit of wanting the,
And then my history side, because history is my major, I was oh, the history of all of this.
But
And
you wouldn't get to study the history because they're not giving them to you.
but the thing is like when was it Adela Dundee, whenever no, not Adela Dundee, but whenever the one character, she felt like the world was sort of ending, and so she actually murdered off her character committed suicide, and how much that would have been like detrimental to even people in the present day because of how much hope he gave people. And then after the World War I or after World War II, she continued to write about him and then ended up with him retiring peacefully and everything like that. Even now, if you heard something about that, that could really shake people's world. So I get like both aspects of it. But yeah, I can see because I can see that, with Miriam and Janine, it bothered both of them as well. But with Bree, she's like, that makes me want to continue the series. She hauled already 4 of the books.
So
and I agree. Maybe we'll learn more of the why later because, I mean, it is the first one of the series. So it's always a little bit, there's always going to be a little bit of things that aren't 100% written out.
Oh, no, I mean, for the first in the series, you definitely, I mean, that town, I mean, I don't know if a place like this actually exists. I would like to visit it if it does. I mean, I got a very clear sense of the setting. I thought the writing was pretty strong. I just had questions about the writing. I mean, I wasn't confused about anything. I mean, I'm giving her credit for the first in the series. I think she did a pretty good job.
Yeah, I think so too. And I loved how literate she was. Like, like whenever she started mentioning all of these sleuths and like who wouldn't want to go to a mayhem and murder whole entire week of awesome sleuthingness and like figuring out clues and everything.
I love that. I loved all the literature references because I kind of, as a writer, you knew she knew her stuff. Like, yes, you've done your research, you've read these books. I mean, she had her mystery ones. She had a couple other ones thrown in the mix. I mean,
she put Temperance Brennan. She's like someone dressed up as Temperance Brennan from Bones. And I was like, that's a contemporary sleuth. I was like, and that's one of my absolute favorite shows, Bones. And so whenever she did that, I was like, oh, that tickled me. I was excited.
Oh no, I mean, there was one, I wasn't sure if there was a little bit of shade thrown in there or a little judgment because they referenced Dexter, the serial killer. I don't know if y'all caught this. I mean, it's a full-time show with Michael C. Hall there. A great show. I mean, TV.
Yeah, it's a good show.
I mean, I was going to say this is a mature audience, so very cozy, different from Cozy Mysteries. But I mean, she referenced it, and I kind of wasn't sure if it was a little bit of a wink, wink, nudge, nudge, not for me type of situation.
Yeah.
She referenced it, so I'm going, huh? What's going on with Dexter? But it was in there.
Yeah, and that's what, like, I love how because there were even some mystery characters and sleuths that even I didn't know about. And as someone who loves mysteries, I was like, oh, who is this person that I've never heard of? I kind of want to go and read their books. And so I really, really liked that about her. And I loved the librarian and how much he was able to like be intuitive to the guests and figure out the perfect book for their mood. I really liked the character.
Oh, I loved him. I think I tweeted his description because he was just the perfect quintessential librarian with a tweed jacket. I just thought, the bow tie. He was just a quintessential librarian.
I absolutely loved that. So, raise of hands or saying in the comments, did you figure out the whodunit before the end? Because I'm going to let you know, I did not.
The dog, I think he thinks you're talking to him because he's looking at the computer. Who's not me? He's still right here, FYI. I felt like for this one, I was along for the ride because there was so much going on in this particular book. There was a lot, I felt as if there was this plot, then there was the secondary plot, and then we were still learning the characters. So I think I've said this the last couple of times, and it's the first book in the series. I'm kind of just going to see what happens. I wasn't really playing the whodunit game so much. I didn't get it. I was just waiting to see what happened because the girl kind of just dropped dead. I'm going, okay, how did she drop dead? And so you didn't actually find that out for a little while either.
Yeah, it was like, At first, I thought that the murder mystery was going to be all about the girl who got killed on the horse. But then I was like, but the title says Murder in the Mystery Suite. I was like, so she didn't, maybe it's not going to be about her. And then when he died in the suite, I was like, oh. And so I kept trying to figure it out. And they did drop clues about Lizzie, the murderer. They dropped clues and like I went and looked back and I was like, oh, they did drop this clue. Oh, they did drop this clue. But I don't know if it was because I listened to the book half in audio and I half physically read it, if that threw off my, red herring and clue pick up things that I normally am really good at. But I actually enjoyed the fact that I did not know who it was.
I mean, I'm kind of right there with you. We talked about this last time of how the murder happened way too late in the book. This time we had the first murder, and then you're going, I wasn't really sure what to make of this. I know someone mentioned unrealistic up above or something. So I love how they just grab the first random townie that they find going, can you identify this person? Like, you live in town. Everyone knows everybody. You can identify this body. I mean, I don't know how realistic that is.
I didn't know how realistic that was either. I was like, that's kind of weird.
And then they go, are you squeamish? You want to go look at a dead body? I mean, she's saying, oh yeah, I'm a mom. My kids have gotten bruises. I'm going, that is so not the same thing as looking at a dead body.
And she admitted that was not the same thing. She was like, well, that's not the same thing as looking at a dead body. So I
just thought that was funny. Like, hey, you live in town. You can identify this woman if she lives in town.
No. Even though the doctor who was seeing her would be the one who knows everyone in town.
I know. I mean, I was kind of curious how that was going to play out in regards to her becoming the sleuth, thinking, oh, is this how she gets involved? But then when the second murder happened, where she works and, where, she knew the people, that made a little bit more sense to me. So it was the second one where I'm going, okay, I got this now. I'm along for this ride.
Yeah. And then when the third person got killed, I was like, oh my gosh, all the murders.
I know, we're getting like a body count in this one.
We were very much a body count.
I mean, the last one, we were lucky to get one at the 45% mark. This one, they're just dropped.
They're all of them. It made up for last month's book. It they're evening out with the kill count.
This one should, she was just dropping her characters. I just thought that was hysterical.
Yeah. Don't need this one.
I mean, talk about again, the series, she wasn't holding on to them like her precious little baby. She's like, kill my darling? Sure. I'll kill that little darling.
There's this one. But yeah, by the time like the third murder happened, I was like, all right, so who's the suspects? Like, who is going to be? I thought for a second that it might be Edwin because of the fact that really, really famous book went missing when he was doing work in that other country. But then I was like, no, I'm pretty sure he's supposed to be her love interest for the series. And so
the Grinch. I did not know what to do with that information when they compared him to the Grinch. I thought that was
yes,
awesome.
I was like, fantastic. I did feel like it was kind of forced between her and Edwin. Like whenever they were doing the ball and they're the dance and they were all dressed up as their characters, and then like she's just swaying to the music, and then he all of a sudden just comes and starts dancing with her in a toga. Like that just like came out of nowhere. I was like, because they like put him off as this like broody, very, very like intrinsic, not outgoing kind of person, and then he does that.
I know, it was like, which lends itself to him potentially being a suspect, because
exactly.
I found the description. Edwin doesn't do parties, and again, like he all of a sudden does parties. He prefers to spend his time cooking exotic foods. I felt like there was a checklist here. Reading obscure books and tinkering. He'd be perfectly content living in a cave. He's like the Grinch. And I mean, where did the Grinch, I mean, I just thought that was hysterical. The Grinch.
Yeah, he's just like the Grinch. And so I'm like, okay, he's like the Grinch, and yet he's A, at the party, B, dressed up for the party, and C, he goes dancing with her. Like he takes her completely off guard and then just starts, waltzing with her. And I thought it cracked me up.
Because of her, he is no longer the Grinch.
Yes, because of her.
He's changing. He's being a better man for her.
They haven't ever had a real conversation, but he's changing.
He did technically make her kids, what was it, the 2 omelets for breakfast? That was cute. I liked that.
That was very, very cute. And I like how they're like, Mom needs all the coffee.
That was my favorite. I had to tweet that. That had to be tweeted because I'm a coffee drinker, and I loved it when they said, Mom needs her coffee, otherwise she's a zombie and she's going to go after your brains. It was one of those, get her some coffee now, and I related so hard to that.
Yes, that was perfect and fantastic. I loved it.
I know. I liked there was a lot of one-liners. There was very, there were witty parts to it. Again, I just like kind of the banter in that way. So again, I think I'm actually raising my stories as we're talking about this.
Yeah.
Oh, his heart grew 3 sizes. I love that.
I was like, duh. They did. I saw up here, and I haven't commented on it yet. I do love the fact that their book club is called the Cover Girls.
Oh my goodness. I loved their book club. I mean, we have to kind of talk about that. I even found their quotes. So again, I think I've talked about this before. If you guys have been watching live streams, I love books written by women, for women, about women. And so I loved it when they said they had The Grapes of Wrath, The Glass. Hi, puppy. That's Max. They had The Giver, The Great Gatsby. And then she's like, I am so ready to dive into some women's fiction. I just loved it because they were moving on down the alphabet. I was like, that is great. I love that. I'm so appreciative of that, as Max barks at me. So.
Yeah, I think it's cool that they're going backwards in the alphabet. That's pretty fun. Do I sense a love triangle with Edwin and the new employee in the next book? I think so, because I'm in the second book, I'm only 9% into it. But they've already talked about the newest employee, the Scotsman or whatever. They've already talked about him.
Oh, he's Scottish?
Yes, and how he's very just I think he's in the Army or the Marines or something, and how he's the new outdoor gamesman, and how everybody's just flocks to him. And Jane's like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna like him very much, or he seems like he's good for his job, but that's about it. Jane sort of like pushed it off when Sinclair asked her about it in the second book. But I think it will be a love triangle. We haven't really physically met him yet. I'm only 9% in, so.
I mean, I think I mentioned this before. I love the Murder, She Baked series. They had a love triangle going on for a very, very long time. I don't know if I'm ready to get into another Cozy Mystery love triangle because the last one went on forever. Norman versus Mike the cop. I was going, oh, this just kept going.
Just figure it out.
I know. I mean, and every single time, oh, Norman is such a nice man. That was her go-to line. Norman is such a nice man. I don't know if I'm ready for another, love triangle. I mean, if there is one, I'll probably remember it, but I don't know if I want one.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel so bad. Are we keeping you awake? You need like a B12.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I'm gonna be an adult and not fall asleep at 8:30. But the past few nights, I have been falling asleep at like 8:30 at night. Oh. So, what were your guys' favorite scenes? What was your absolute favorite scene?
Do you have a favorite scene? Because now you got me thinking. I mean, aside from the twins, I don't know if like a scene jumps out. I just love the twins.
I think that my favorite scene is okay, I'm gonna say that I giggled a lot when the aunt threw the vase at the physical trainer's head and had him leaving, basically scrambling out of the apartment. I thought that was pretty awesome.
She was very feisty.
I love how cantankerous she is. Like, she's just sassy, saucy, but I loved how warm she was, especially to the twins, and telling them to be themselves. That made my heart happy. So any scene with, was it Aunt Octavia? Mm-hmm. Yes, Aunt Octavia. I loved her. It looks like Miriam, Aunt Octavia, was her favorite character too. Like, I just love how strict she could be. She was very set in her ways, but I loved just, you could see the warmness in her too. The characters were really well written.
No, I know exactly one of the scenes you're kind of referring to when she just was trying to encourage them to be imaginative. And I just thought that was so sweet. I think I actually posted one of those snapshots, little snapshots to my Instagram live because I just loved that scene when she was saying, imagination is so important. I love that. That you just spoke to my heart.
Yeah. She's just, and I loved Uncle Ulysses and Aunt Octavia's marriage. Like you could tell like how in love they were and that they still are with each other. And like how, Ulysses was calmer around Octavia and I loved how they built each other up and they brought each other up. That made me super, super happy.
I love that too. I mean, it was one of those. She had the romantic elements, and then there was one little line or one little scene. You just kind of made me think of it. I made a little note about it because it kind of caught me off guard because she seemed to be really in favor of kind of romance, and then all of a sudden she mentioned the woman who was reading the romance novels or eroticas, saying, "Oh, I never took her for a homewrecker. I blame it on all the erotica she read this month. Over 20 novels, each steamier than the last." And I'm going, is that a little shade there? What's going on with that comment? So what's going on there?
I think it was a little shade, but then she was like, but she reads everything that I read afterwards. And just, I think it was like playful banter. It acknowledged the fact that for some reason the romance genre is sort of criticized, but then in the way that they still accept it. And she readily was like, yes, I want a Highlander who barely has his shirt on the whole entire time. And I think that it was sort of like a genre sort of laughing at itself at the same time.
That's what I mean. I think she did that nice little thing about, so again, one of the other quotes I kind of found was when she kind of acknowledged, and this very rarely happens, again, like reading a lot of cozy mysteries, because she has the boys, she goes, I have my kids to think about. If something happens to me, I have my kids. And she had that moment that not a lot of sleuthing moms have when they actually say, I have kids to think about. And I'm going, yes, she's doing the mom thing, which they never do.
More realistic. And I love the fact that, yes, she's training how to shoot a bow and arrow, and she's training how to do karate, but the boys are there too. And they just think that she's the coolest mom in the whole entire world because they get to do all the cool boy stuff, but they're still growing up and doing those same things as well. So it's not as though she's really hiding the new role that that was forced upon her.
Oh no, I loved how she was doing this because it kind of gave me this like female gaze, female perspective. Again, like when you're talking about like the romance genre element, like I love that she's able to, I was like, hey, we're throwing a little bit of shade, but again, maybe it was because she wanted to combat and negate. But I loved how she was trying to justify, like she was doing the female perspective. And I thought she captured it really well and implemented it, in just a great way. And so now I'm just rambling, but that's just
No, I totally agree. I thought that this series really hit upon really important aspects. Like, I know that I saw that you tweeted this quote, but when he was like, even if the book was by Adele Dundee, it's just pieces of paper and glue and like some cardboard. And everyone, like you could tell, I could like feel the reverberations from all of the characters listening to him cringe. And they're like, they are not just pieces of paper glued together with cardboard. Like, no.
I love it when writers are able to tap into their readers because they know who their audience is. And you have these moments where they can totally make the characters just a villain in one or two sentences, and that villainized him perfectly because you have your reader who's obviously a bookworm, a book lover of some sort. And so obviously someone going against reading is not going to fare well for us.
Yeah. I was like, come at me, bro. I'll fight you.
Well, I think the image I chose a GIF where he's going, blasphemous. No, not okay.
No. Oh, Lizzie. Hi, Lizzie. She says that she's at work and just remembered this. And then Kristen said, half watching, half eating dinner, and half studying. Yes, the math doesn't add up. I totally understand. Math does not always add up.
Oh, funny.
It was hilarious. I was trying to explain this whole entire week why we weigh categories in our grade book. Teachers did not understand why we weigh categories in our grade book, and I had to explain it to them.
What categories are you weighing?
Like, the final's worth 10% of your grade.
Mm-hmm.
Your classwork is worth 60% of your grade. Tests and quizzes are worth this much. They didn't understand that. They didn't understand that even if they made the final worth 1,000 points, if you weigh it at 10% of the grade, you could make it 1,000,000 points, and it still will only be worth 10% of that student's grade. They didn't understand that. It was very hard. And I'm a history teacher, and so trying to explain math as a non-math person was very difficult.
Well, I mean, I think my first immediate thought was, if you're a teacher, you yourself have gone through school, so you've experienced the weighted grades, so it shouldn't be that big of a surprise to you if you yourself are supposed to then implement it.
No,
That's my thought process, but
they just go, well, I just want to do points. You do you, boo. You do points. You do you.
I mean, I give you credit. I mean, people are not easy. Yes, the dog is like, I need to be a part of this live stream, so
Pay attention to me.
yeah, he's doing.
Whereas one of my dogs
back
and forth.
It's blasphemous. I thought that was so funny. I actually had like 4 different tweets because there were so many different gifs where people are just so angry and up in arms, which just seems so appropriate.
Yes.
I was having a lot of fun tweeting today. I'm sorry you have to deal with the craziness though. That's not fun.
Yeah, it's a thing that happens. Lizzie Faye, I loved all the bookishness of the book, but the secret library was just a little far-fetched to me. Still enjoyed it and thought it was a fun book. And I think that's it. There's 2 camps.
I was going to say, I think Lizzie, Miriam, and myself were in one camp with this, and you were leading the brigade with the other people.
Yeah, I'm like, there's 2 camps. You either really like the society, like Tomb Raider part, or you're not all for it. Either way, it's totally fine.
Oh, yeah. Max says hi back.
Kristen, I agree with how much participation was weighed. I think that we have unless it's a performance-based class like band or choir or drama, I think participation, I love that hat.
I was just playing around the dog. I moved it. So I have my little Sherlock Holmes hat. I posted my little Instagram picture.
It was adorable. I loved it. Participation, I think, can only be 10% of a grade where I am from. So, yeah, it just depends.
I don't know why I put it on.
You rock you. I don't think I have a hat over here. I have a really cool fanny pack that Aaron's mom got me for my birthday. That's as close to a wearable as I have.
I also have my little magnifying glass so I can do my little sleuthing.
Yeah.
I like the fanny pack though.
Thank you. I like my fanny packs. They're pretty awesome.
The dog's like, yes, I agree.
Yeah. He could probably fit in my fanny pack.
Well, it was so funny because there's a girl I know. She wants a dog, and she's like, "Oh, he's gonna be 50 pounds," and I'm going 50 pounds. Mm. So Max would be the size of his head. So. Oh, thank you. Thank you. We got a little bit. I know I was trying to play around with this because anytime you magnify the image, it's going to be distorted. So I was having fun with my little Instagram feed earlier. So
yeah, I loved it. I love your new bookshelves and the flowers and all of that fun stuff.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet. Because I wanted to have fun with it because, you had your Murder Mayhem Mystery Week going on. So I was like, if I would, who would you guys dress up as? I have the hat. I was thinking maybe Miss Marple. But yeah. I didn't know who else I would go with.
I was thinking I could totally be Grandma Miss Marple, or I would pick one of the sleuths from my, from the Cozy Mysteries that we read. I would totally be okay with being Katie Lightfoot from Bailey Cates's Magical Bookshop or Magical Bake Shop Mystery series. I'd be cool with being Katie. I like the fact that she has got some of the magic, and then I could sort of dress up in a gardening kind of baking kind of way. I think that would be fun.
I mean, I would be very curious. I mean, I was thinking, okay, if I did Aurora Teagarden, aside from walking around with a book, she's a librarian and a regular human being. So what would I do with that? Same thing with Hannah Swenson. Would I just put on an apron and say, it's a day? I mean, I wouldn't get a little fun hat out of it. At least if you do something else, you can dress up a little bit more.
Exactly. I like Lizzie Faye says, Courtney, you could do Nancy Drew. I would love to do Nancy Drew. I think it's the short hair and like the rounded glasses that could do it for me. I do get mistaken as a middle school and high schooler quite a bit when I have my laptop backpack on. They're like, go to class. I'm like, I'm an adult.
Can you say that to you?
So that's fun.
I would take that as like such a big compliment though. I'd be like, oh my gosh, are you like, you think I'm that young?
Yeah, like whenever I was walking down the hall at the high school, they're like, you need to get to class. And I turned around and then they saw my ID and they're like, oh, you're an adult. I'm like, yep, I graduated 10 years ago. No longer in high school.
That would just boost my ego so much. I've started using eye cream around my eyes. You know, you don't want the little crow feet, whatever. So as soon as someone says, thinks you're younger than you are, it's the best feeling in the world.
Yep, I'm like, score. Like when I still get ID'd to get an adult beverage, I'm like, you think I'm younger than 21? That's so sweet. Because I'm almost 30, so that's thank you. I like Miriam said, modern mysteries give us so much more options for female sleuth. But yeah, I totally agree. You're more able to fit in because beforehand, even most females were writing about male protagonists. I do like how her best friend Eloise dressed up as Sherlock Holmes. I thought that was so funny. And then she's like, how are you going to flirt with the professor dressed up as Sherlock Holmes? And she's like, well, I do have a very tight white tank top on underneath this button up. And I thought that was awesome.
I would love to see a female Sherlock Holmes. As I put the hat on, like for emphasis, like I don't want a female Sherlock Holmes.
Right? You want someone that's just like, bye, Lizzie. I'm so glad that you came and stopped by, though. She says she's losing her Wi-Fi connection.
Aw, thank you for joining us. You're so sweet. I hope you get the Wi-Fi back. Losing Wi-Fi is just the worst.
It really is.
Stuck with it. No, I want a female Sherlock Holmes, and I think that would actually. I mean, I've seen they did the what was it, Elementary with Lucy Liu, where she was.
Yes.
Watson. Can we switch that and get a female Sherlock, and then maybe a male Watson? I don't know. We can flip flop that. Have some fun.
I think that would be fun. Don't they have? It might be a YA, but it's a YA series where it's about Sherlock Holmes's daughter and Watson's daughter or Watson's.
Yes, I know. Study in Charlotte, like they had like.
Yes.
I love those.
I haven't read them, but I heard that they're really good.
No, I think I grabbed those. It's their lineage. It's not necessarily the characters. It's more of like that adaptation of an adaptation versus the direct adaptation.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that. That's somewhere in my office. I need to go find them now.
Yeah, I'm like, I've been meaning to read those, but my TBR has gotten totally huge and out of whack. So I've been meaning to read a lot of things. I think I've only read 4 books this month. So
and this was one of them. So I'm very happy that you enjoyed it.
I read 2 fantasy novels and 2 cozy mysteries.
Oh yeah, you started reading Sarah J. Maas. I saw that.
Yeah, I'm now on book 4 of the Throne of Glass series.
The dog growled like, I approve. I don't know. He's like growling like, yes, it's okay. You're just making progress in that.
Yeah, my best friend and I are actually going to Texas in October to go and meet Sarah J. Maas, and we're going to get the newest book signed. So that's going to be fun. But after reading this book, I've been like, I want the cozy mysteries. And so I read Knit 1, Kill 2. That was a fun one.
Oh, yeah. I saw your Instagram live story where you were learning how to knit, or you were knitting yourself. What was it? I'm
learning how to make myself a hat.
I know how to knit. I've done scarves and blankets and throws and stuff. I've never done a hat. I had the needles to do it, but they were so little, and the hat was just taking such a long time. I was going, this is not my favorite thing in the world. I was not having fun.
I've knitted scarves before and like gone from like one color to another color to another color to another color with like 4 different yarns and everything, but I've never knitted myself a hat. But I'm super, super stoked to teach myself. It's going to be a lot of fun.
You're gonna have to post. You're gonna have to do either a story or some sort of image on your Insta because I want to see how this hat turns out.
Yes, I will. I'm excited. I actually found this awesome. Sorry, my throat's cutting out. This really found this awesome knitting shop. It's called In the Loop, I think.
That is such a cute name for a knitting store,
right? Like in my mind, I'm like, this is perfect for a cozy. And like I walked in and there were all these colors of yarn and string and just all of these amazing like examples of how to make this, how to make this, how to make this. And it just reminded me of Knit One, Kill Two. And I'm like, yes, all awesome. I was super excited.
I loved it when you said, again, like it sounds so weird I'm quoting you to you, but I loved it when you said, oh, when I'm reading my cozies, I get influenced by what I'm reading. I gotta go knit.
Like, if I'm reading a bakery book, I start, my sweet tooth like skyrockets. Or if I'm reading a coffee book, like my need for caffeine or a hot beverage skyrockets. And so this one, it was all about knitting, and I was like, oh, I got out my scarf that I have been working on, and then I was like, but I want to make a hat. I want to learn how to do all of this. And then I just went and spent $40 at a knitting store buying in the round needles and a new beautiful yarn and everything. And it was just, I was like, yep, I'm totally like subliminal messages from books. They're like, you want it. You want to do this thing. You want to have this hobby too. Come on, do it.
I think that's like a sign of good writing. If you then want to do whatever the character's doing. That's like me and Hannah Swenson. Like, I want to go bake cupcakes whenever because it's the cookie jar. Like, that's her bakery. I'm always like, I want to go bake cupcakes, even though I don't bake. I mean, you don't want me to cook. But even then, I'm like, oh, I could bake cupcakes.
You're like, I can do all the things. If they can do it, I can do it. I totally agree. That's awesome, Miriam, that your mom used to make knit baby hats for newborns at the hospital.
That is the sweetest thing ever. I love that. Oh.
That is awesome.
I love that. That's the sweetest thing. Oh my goodness. And I have no idea what it means. So I'm trying to figure out or decode the. Oh, so happy early birthday, Kristen. So you almost had your ID taken away at 20 when they thought it was fake because you were over 18. I was confused by that for a second.
Because they thought that her actual driver's license was a fake ID because they didn't think that she was over 18.
Oh, okay. I kind of stumbled over that. This is what happens when you have the progressives, the wannabe bifocals, and you're trying to read and you're missing things. I think one of these times is wear my reading glasses and see what happens, and I can then read the comments. The process. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to add about this book. I mean, is there any other comments, any other things you guys wanted to talk about? Any scenes, characters, whatever? Is there something about this book that you just have to talk about? I mean, is there anything else you wanted to talk about with this book? Because I'm trying to think, like, oh, where are my notes?
I don't know. I freaking loved this book. I haven't laughed so much with characters in a book series in a little while, because everything I've been reading so lately has been like so serious that it's like end of the world stuff. And so like I go back to a cozy and I'm just like, oh my goodness, it's light and fluffy and I missed this so much.
I think I kind of needed a cozy too. I mean, I think I love the literary references. I mean, I loved it when they mentioned how she came up with the name James Bond before.
Yes, that was so
excited. I loved it. I love references like that. I was so pumped. I mean, I was just sitting there reading, going, "Oh, this is so great!" I was just getting excited reading that. It had nothing to do with the story. It was just a random inclusion.
Yes. But it was like you learned at the same time. It was sort of like a little English lesson while you're reading a really cool mystery. I loved it.
Oh my gosh, I found the other one because they were referencing. There's so many book references here. As the dog, yes, we know you're here. Someone was saying how modern crimes were much creepier. And he's like, "What if I told you Agatha Christie wrote a novel about a serial killer, one of the most brilliant villains I've ever come across?" In fact, the guy's like, "I'd be willing to give that book a try." It's like it's called ABC Murders. He's like, "Go read it."
Yes. And I love how well they were able to insert themselves into what another person would read. They're like, hey, you might think this sounds silly, but listen to the synopsis here. It's pretty awesome.
I love that because again, I think I appreciated her as the writer, having read all of these other mysteries, because it was one of those you could see what she was taking and from where. It wasn't as if she was paying homage to it. She wasn't just directly lifting. Whereas a lot of times I'm going, I recognize this a very similar narrative from this thing, and where she was saying, no, I like Charles Dickens, so therefore I'm going to name a character over here, named after Dickens.
And I loved that because it didn't feel like she just Googled something and was like, oh, okay, here's the Wikipedia version. I'm just going to kind of paraphrase it here. She actually knew the characters. She knew the scenes. Like whenever she had the guests going on that scavenger hunt with all of the quotes from certain books, that was so freaking cool. Like I would love to go to an inn for a whole entire week and it be like a book themed getaway. Like that is awesome. I loved it.
I was gonna say, I think we just found like our. At one point we wanted the bookmobile. Now we gotta do this too. I think we need a bookish mystery retreat because that would be epic. If you ever do your mystery box, you're gonna have to say, "Who here would be willing to do a mystery retreat?"
Come and be friends with me, and come to over here and love me.
I love you. I think you're sweetie. I'm sorry you're having a little bit of a rougher time. This start of term. I wish it was going well for you.
It'll go better. It'll go better. I love it, Miriam. That's a mystery author who really has a love for mysteries. I agree. It's not like they're just trying to write something to sell it, because there have been quite a few like cozy mysteries that I've seen for like free on Kindle Unlimited that I'm reading it and I'm like, do you even know what a red herring is? Do you even know like how to drop, the hints and things like that? And it just drives me insane. And I'm like, you can't call this a cozy mystery. This is just crap. So
I'm honoring that so much. There's some people who just, again, it's so great if you want to write a book, like, more power to you. Tell the story you want to tell. That's great. But if you don't know the genre you're writing in and you expect people who love that genre to read your book, that's where you're going to run into difficulty. You can write whatever you want to write, but don't put it in the incorrect genre. Just don't do that.
Exactly. Like, I'm like, you can't tell me something's one thing and then turn around and it's not. It's totally different.
No, I'm right there with you. I've noticed that with cozies. I found that a lot with the romance genre. I've noticed that a lot more in the romance genre than I probably have in cozies, but it's just, there's some people where I'm like, please research your genre before you hit that publish button. Please do that.
It's not a hard, I just don't feel like it's a hard concept. If you love the genre, then you've read it and you can appreciate the different elements that make up that genre.
But that's the other thing too. So romance is the best-selling genre, but mysteries are like right up there. So it's almost as if people know where the money is and they want to make the money. Which you can respect. You got to put food on the table. I respect that, but just make sure it's like you're writing in the right genre. If you're gonna write a cozy, make sure you understand what a cozy mystery is.
Yes, you can't have an in-depth bloody scene and then call it a cozy.
Oh, I saw that one time. They had the murder on the page, and I'm going, huh? It was a Dexter-esque moment. I'm going, this is not what I signed. Yeah, the dog's like, I didn't sign up for this either. But it makes me appreciate books like this more. So I think as we're talking, I'm upping my rating over here.
I really, really, really liked it. What about anybody else? Does anybody else have anything that they would like to add? Has everybody gone and voted for what book they wanted?
We've got to look
for the month of September.
I know. I think I gave you guys an extra day I think because I wasn't sure when we, went live versus when it was gonna. Oh, so right now, should I tell you guys where we stand? Right
Yes.
now, On What Grounds is winning at 58%. Murder in G Major is last at 11, and Murder for the Books is at 31%.
So pretty sure that it's going to be.
Have you read this one?
Yes.
Ah.
But it's okay because it's one of my absolute favorite series, and I haven't read it in well over a year. So I'm totally down to reread a little bit about Claire Causey and her whole entire gang at the coffee shop.
Okay, that makes me feel better because, again, I was trying to do my choose a theme. So I think there ended up being about 15 or 16 books people could have chosen, for the, potential last final 3 or, final 4 there. So when I was doing the lists, I was kind of taking a chance. I had a couple more well-known, in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
Grounds. I was kind of hoping Murder in G Major.
That's what I voted for.
That was what I voted for as well. I might as well just tell you guys, that was my personal bias. I voted for Murder in G Major. I really wanted to have more diversity because she'd be our first African-American, people of choice, and I was so pumped to see that. I was like, please win. And then it came in 11%. I'm going, dang it, I'm just going to have to read this on my own.
That's what I thought. I was like, fine, I'll just read it by myself.
I know. I was like, if anyone wants to buddy read, let me know.
Right.
I think this, I really want to read this book. As soon as I found that on the Cozy Mystery list, because I was going through Goodreads, what were the highly rated ones or, recent releases when I was doing the list. And when Murder in G Major just totally caught my eye. I'm going, I have to read this book. I don't know.
Yeah. Once I read the synopsis, I was like, this sounds awesome. I want to read this really bad. And so I went right in and I was like, vote. So, but yeah, it sounds like On What Grounds is winning, which is a totally amazing book. I love that series.
I guess we have just a lot of coffee drinkers, people who really just love caffeine, which again, I totally relate to.
Well, and it looks very, very fall-esque because the cover, hold on. Okay, you're going to laugh at me. Totally wore this shirt to work today, right?
Cute.
But you get home, right?
Oh, yeah. Birds. What did I say? Flowers.
Yeah, I got these. I got it at Ross. But when you get home, you want to be in comfy clothes. So I might be in night pants and a fancy shirt, but night pants and a fancy shirt. So I'm going to go and Murder or On What Grounds is extremely fall looking.
So at least that sets the tone for autumn. I mean, we can have our pumpkins.
Yeah, no, it's perfect for autumn. And I love it because she puts recipes in the back as well. I still really want to try the Village Blends raspberry mocha bocci, Bocci, bocci. Is it Italian? I don't know. No idea. I took French, didn't take Italian. So, but yeah, it's a really, really good series. So I'm excited. A good coffee house mystery series.
I know, I'm refreshing to see if anyone's voted since we've talked about it. No, so we have 19 votes, and so does anyone want to? Do we tell them vote last minute to see if it stays On What Grounds? Or are we calling it? Do we want to say On What Grounds is the next book?
We might as well just call it because that's what we do. We tell them at the end of the stream on the month, so it'll be On What Grounds by Cleo Coyle, which is pretty cool. It's a good series. I think I've read the first 4 in the series.
See, that I like that. I actually kind of appreciate the fact you know the book because now instead of saying, "Oh, what's coming next," you can kind of allude to.
Oh yeah, I already know what's coming next. I actually have the first 10 books up on my bookshelf.
Wow, you just were like, I just want this series. I love it.
Oh yeah, that this series is actually one of the very first cozies that I talked about at the very, very, very beginning of my channel. It was one of my very first pictures on Instagram. It was
oh my gosh, you're gonna have to do a Throwback Thursday or something.
An OG.
I love that. I'm gonna have to go back and go find this on your channel now. I'm just gonna have to. I mean, because I really appreciate the fact you love this series because I think that's gonna yield more insight. And I mean, for this one, the romance reader. My dissertation's on the romance genre readership. For those of you who don't know, so at the end of this book, they're saying, "Oh, the romance writers are coming to town." So I'm going, "Oh, so should I read book 2 because it is?" So at least now, if I like this one, you can say, "Oh, you should read book 2 because X, Y, Z."
Yeah. Oh no, I'll tell you. I'm excited. I like Kristen says, I've read one from the On What Ground series, so I'm looking forward to reading that one. And Miriam said, I voted for this one because you spoke about it so positively very often, Courtney.
Aw, you're an influencer.
I try. With cozies anyway, I am.
That's so sweet though. She's like, I am taking your advice. I love that. See, you know, people are listening.
Yes, today because I post videos every Wednesday and Friday. Today's was highly rated cozies, and I went through all of because I've read well over 30 cozies this year. I went through and I found my top 5 cozies that are the first in the series that I absolutely loved, and I talked about them on my video for today, and so that was a lot of fun.
I'm gonna have to. I think I get a little I have your little bell set, so I get a little notification every time you publish a new video. I haven't watched it. I think it's on my watch for later list, but now I'm gonna have to go watch it.
Yeah, it's really, really. I had fun doing it because I was like, then it's sort of like nostalgic. You go back and you're like, oh, I did read that. That was so good. It's fun.
I've been neglectful ever. I surpassed my goal of 150 books for the year. Like I surpassed that very early in the Goodreads reading year. So I haven't been as prompt and as good as I should be about keeping track of what I'm reading. I need to go back and see what's on my Kindle and go add them to my Goodreads list. So I give you credit for knowing what you've read.
Yeah, I think I've read 72 books this year. So that's not too bad.
No, that's not too shabby at all. There was this Pew study I came across, and it made me so sad. It was talking about how millennials don't read, and going, I mean, part of the bookish community, booktube, bookstagram, going, I know millennials read, but they were doing that on average. Millennials only read a couple books a year, and I'm going, this is sad for the people who just do that. I'm going, I know that's not the case for everybody, Pew. I'm sorry to tell you.
It's like, don't put me in a lump sum thing.
I was going, I'm like, I read like 5 books a week, Pew studies over there. Like,
Yes. I'm like, come at me. Come at me.
Come at me.
Come at me, bro. I'll fight you. I'll fisticuffs you. I'll win. I won't win. That won't happen. Winning was not a thing.
What is it in Frozen he calls her? He calls her feisty pants or sassy pants or something.
Mm-hmm. I'm totally feisty sassiness.
You got a little feisty pants over there. I love it. I love it. Makes me happy. You're down for anything coffee. I just saw that quote. I'm like, yes, the little.
Seriously. All the coffee. I found out I've started drinking coffee again. I just don't add sugar to it. I have a little bit of creamer and then that's it. But adding the sugar was what was making it taste disgusting to me. I don't know why, but it was gross. And so I was like, all right. And then I was like, I'll just try it with a little bit of creamer. Little bit of creamer, perfect amount of sweetness and bitterness, and I was good to go.
Is this the half and half?
No, this is I do peppermint creamer, or I'll do vanilla creamer, or I'll do pumpkin spice creamer because I am that white girl and I don't feel bad. Like if you saw my Instagram story this morning, I went and this morning I had a pumpkin spice chai latte.
Me too, friend.
Yes, and it was so good. And then I had maple pecan muffin. It was so good.
See, I went full out for full pumpkin, and I got the pumpkin scone.
I almost got the pumpkin scone. You hush your face. I almost got the pumpkin scone, but then like right next to it was the pecan maple, and I was like, okay, that sounds kind of really good. And I kind of.
See, I use the Starbucks app, so because they're in DC.
I use the app too.
If I ever went to the counter, I would just be like, I want this. I went to this birthday cake pop. I went to this pumpkin pound loaf over there. Like I want all the food. So I just using the app is safer. I just kind of go in for what I need and I leave. So the direct.
Oh yeah, I totally agree.
No, but when they came. It was 92 degrees in DC, and I was walking out of there with my pumpkin spice the other day. I'm going,
yeah. No, it's totally gross here in Oklahoma. Like, it's well over 100, 104 during the day with, like, 90% humidity. My glasses fog up when I leave the like a cold room. It's not fun.
That's the worst. Okay, people with glasses totally understand this. That has happened to me more often than it should. That it's so irksome. And
Yes.
I'm sure the students that you're encountering, I mean, they're probably like, it's too hot. I'm not ready for it to be fall yet. Nope.
Mm-hmm. I'm all about fall. Like, I'm like, please be cold. Please be anywhere between, 60 degrees and maybe 75 degrees. Like, just, I'm even cool with like 50 degrees. Let me layer up. I want all the layers. But yeah.
He's like, I'm awake again.
Spiced everything. Yes, spiced things. It's my goal in life.
Pumpkin spice stuff. Mm-hmm. He's getting mad. He's like, you better pay attention to me. Yes.
Autumn's my absolute favorite season as well. It goes autumn, then it goes winter, then spring, then summer. I hate summer more than anything.
Me too.
It is the worst. It is the worst season ever.
I am not a summer person whatsoever. I am very, very pale. I burn just like there's no tomorrow. I always, even in winter, I have to wear sunglasses because my eyes are very, very sensitive. My skin is very sensitive.
Well, because the sky is so bright. It's so bright.
I don't know if it's true or not. I remember one time the eye doctor was saying, "Oh, your eyes, because they're such a light blue, they're really impacted by the sun."
They are.
It is it because of
that's actually true. The reason why, so I'm part Native American, and so, but with brown eyes, it is their eyes became accustomed to the sun, and the pigmentation actually helps block out the sun and make it to where it doesn't hurt the eyes as bad. Whereas blue-eyed people are more accustomed to places that do not have as much intense sunlight.
You're like a wealth of just information. I love it. Give me a little lesson. This is what I was talking about with the book. Like, I love it. I mean, when he said it, I mean, again, he's the doctor. You just kind of go with it. But at the same time, I'm going, that just sounds very peculiar. But I'm glad you explained that because that makes sense once you kind of lay it out like that.
Yeah. It's, the more you know.
Is that the TV commercial when they're doing the more you know, when they do that little.
Yep. The little rainbow, the more you know. Yes, I love it.
Oh my gosh. I love how I got that reference though. I'm kind of proud of myself. Not gonna lie.
Yes.
No, I'm kind of right up there with winter and fall. Those are my seasons. I think winter maybe a little bit more than fall, but those are my top two.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Phoenix is a dry heat, whereas here in Oklahoma, it's a gross, messed, humid heat, but both heats are not good.
Oh, people totally judge when they say you don't like summer. People get so mad.
Mm-hmm.
I said that one time.
I'm sorry, this isn't a personal thing. I'm not like personally attacking you. I just personally don't like summer.
Oh no, I've had people who jump on that one. They're going, like I'm some alien from a foreign planet. Like people will jump. I mean, it doesn't matter how old I am. I've always felt this way. I mean, I just stopped saying that when I was younger because people would look at me like I was insane. Because again, when we were with the books on blasphemous, it's almost like it's blasphemous to say summer's your least favorite. So we found our people.
Yay, we found our tribe.
I'm keeping you and your beautiful face. I'm keeping you.
All right, guys. So we're at the hour mark. So does anybody have anything else they want to say or anything else you guys want to talk about or any of that fun stuff? Just let me know. Let us know.
Oh. The dog. He's like she's talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going on. He's been such a good boy all day. I mean, I've been home. I've been home since early mid-morning. So he's been with me all day. He's been such a good little guy. So I think he's jealous. He's going, "Who's mommy talking to? I want my mom."
Mm-hmm.
Which is so cool.
And my dogs are like asleep. They're just passed out because they're old. Like one's 12 and one's 10 years old. So they're like, "We've had 10 years of you, Mom. We're good."
Oh.
They'll love on you when we want lovin's, not when you want lovin's. And I'm like,
Well,
okay.
they love each other. They're not, he relies solely on me. So, yeah.
Yes, no. Having 4 animals, it makes them they're not codependent on anyone. They're very chill.
I don't know what that bark is supposed to be for. I don't know what that means. He's standing next to the bookcase now. He's standing right next to it. And here's the thing, when I post these pictures on my Instagram and his Instagram when he's in front of the bookcase, I am not kidding. Like, that is where he goes. Because he just hangs out in front of the bookcase. Yeah.
They're his companions, his spirit animals.
I mean, it was so funny. I was in the kitchen, well, like my little kitchen area, and so I didn't see where he was, and I came around. He was right in front of the bookcase. He was right in the middle of the bookcase. I was gonna try and get a picture, but it just never happened. He moved too quickly because then he wanted the food that I had in the kitchen.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Hi, Jenna. How are you?
So, any final thoughts, questions, queries, conundrums, anything? The dog answers.
He's like, I've got something to say.
I don't know what he wants to say. No? Anything you would like to add, my lovely?
Nope, just that I really, really, really loved this month's book, and I'm super excited for next month's book, On What Grounds by Cleo Coyle is going to be amazing.
I love how whenever you say something definitive, he barks because he's going, yes, I agree with that.
She's right.
It's almost like he understands. Yes. I don't know what he wants. He's looking at me, so I guess I gotta go take care of him. Yes, I see you there.
Jenna, something that I'm excited about coming up. We'll answer this one question, and then I think that we're gonna. Sorry, you came in at the end of it, but you can always go back and rewatch and comment on her video. I'm super excited to read the second book in the series that we read this month. The second book is called Murder in the Paperback Parlor. So I'm super excited about that. And then I'm going to be reading the 4th book, Crown of Fire, I think, in the Throne of Glass series. I'm really super stoked about that one as well. Those are the 2 books that are on like my immediate to be read list, other than On What Grounds. Oh,
I am pumped. There are a few books on my to be read list. I was just I looked down at the Kindle because I was downloading stuff. No, I'm excited for that one. For the romance book club with Nicole, we're reading Hamilton's Battalion. So I need to read that this weekend. The trio of romance ones. I'm so excited to read Hamilton's Battalion. It's not even funny. I'm kind of carving out a chunk of time just because I'm so excited to read this book. It's 3 unique stories within the Hamilton's Battalion. Courtney Milan, Alyssa Cole, and then Rose Lerner. Lerner is her last name. So I'm really excited to read that one. The dog is like, yes, we're excited. So I'm really pumped to read that particular book again. I just saw Hamilton a couple weeks back, so I know you saw it already. So for some reason, I'm just like in the Hamilton mindset, so I really want to read that. And so I downloaded a whole bunch of stuff recently. So I have a lot of reads, to potentially, be excited about.
All the things.
All the things. I know, I'm excited for that one in particular, though, because I'm just really in that Hamilton mindset. I was buying the books because I loved Eliza from Hamilton the musical. Eliza was my girl. So I've been finding books based on Eliza. So I'm kind of going through a Hamilton phase right now. As the
understandable.
Yes, I agree. Trying to think if there's anything else where I'm like, yes, this is my next book. I just started reading the Psy Changeling series by Nalini Singh. I'm on book 3 or 4 now, so I was doing that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else where I'm like really excited. Nothing's immediately jumping to mind. But I'll keep you posted.
It's been really, really good, and it's Girl Wash Your Face.
Well, you got me to buy the so I just found out as I reach. Oh, so I do have a couple things actually. I take that back. So I found the Amazon bookstore in my neighborhood. Did not know this was a thing.
Cool.
So because you were posting about it, I bought this one. So you were a badass. I just bought this one. I also got the latest Sarah J. Maas, the Catwoman one for my Luma crate. So I want to read this. I basically love the purple pages. And then
I love stained edges.
I am obsessed with this book. I was trying to take pictures for the Instagram, and so I was trying to show off the pages, trying to angle it to show the purple. I just bought this one again. You guys voted, so I was like, yeah, I might as well, because I love all things Jane Austen. Bookish Boyfriends, Your Date with Mr. Darcy. You know, Date with Darcy. I kind of had to do that. And then the next Eloisa James one. I love how I have this right over here, by the way.
You're just like,
I'm reading her series.
Question, Jenna.
You're asking the perfect question, as I have all the books. I mean, I'm not kidding when I say I read 5 to 8 books a week. So when I get excited, you know, I'm going to go through these very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
I read a lot. This one was because of you, though. This one, credit goes to you. I think I was actually, when I took a few pictures. I try and bank Instagram pictures because there's not always time to set up the flowers perfectly. So when I posted this one, I was going to give you a shout out and say, this is because of Courtney.
Yeah, super excited about that. I changed my theme for fall on my Instagram, and I'm pretty in love with it. Like, really in love with it.
You just take beautiful pictures.
I'm proud of it.
All your pictures. I think something's been going on with the Instagram app, though, with the algorithm. The last few, there's been something going on the last few days, though. So hopefully that doesn't impact you.
Oh, I have no idea. I post when I want to post, and then I don't really worry about my Instagram followers anymore. I post when I want to post a pretty picture, and then if people like it, yay! But if they don't like it, oh well.
Oh, no, I mean, because people are saying, oh, you should post it this time on this day, and I'm going, okay,
Yeah.
You know, if I have something I would like to share, such as this live stream coming up today, I will post a picture saying, please remember our live stream today, even though Tuesday is apparently not an optimal day to post. So what?
Like, I'm posting when I want to post and what time I want to post. Don't tell me how to live my life.
I mean, because it's so funny, because people also follow you just to have you follow back, and if you don't do that immediately, they'll unfollow you. I don't.
Oh, yeah. I'll follow people that I want to follow, and that's it.
Well, there are people on Twitter who have this. I don't mean that. So I only speak English. I do not speak a foreign language. I cannot speak a foreign language. And there are people on Twitter who are following me who have foreign language tweets. And I'm going, and you know, I could follow them back just to be polite, but I cannot read their content.
Yeah.
So for stuff like that, I don't really know what to do. You know, it's one of those, I appreciate it, but I can't appreciate your content. If you speak another language, that is amazing and great, but I can't myself appreciate your post.
I don't know what you're saying. Yeah, no. I love what Miriam does. Miriam takes her pictures, and then she puts the top half in English, and then she goes and she translates it in French. Then both of her things. I love that Miriam does that, because I took French for 8 years, and so it's like I'm practicing my French in my head. So, and then I can compare words, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool.
Well, you also have the titles. I mean, there are some people who have the foreign language titles, and it's unless it's one of those New York Times bestsellers or a really recognizable cover, I won't know which book it is if it's in a foreign language. And so I have these moments where I'm going, do I follow, do I not follow? And so I usually take a chance and just hit the follow button. But we love you, Mary. We're just, seeing your faces. Go follow her. You just go follow her. Just follow her Twitter. Follow her on Instagram. Just go follow Mary.
Totally agree. 100%.
And A Date with Mr. Darcy. I'm glad I haven't read this one yet. It just looks so cute, and my love of Jane Austen kind of was full. Anything Jane Austen. It's my life. I love her. Austen's my girl. She's so sweet too. See, she's a nice person.
I love it. All right, guys, is there anything else you guys want to talk about? Because if not, then we're gonna get off here and maybe read to our heart's desire.
I know. Now that I know that this book is so good, I might have to. This might be my night. Or actually, I haven't read this one either, so maybe this is the thing. I post things on Instagram, my live story, like, which book should I read? Vote. So that might.
Yes, let them pick.
Well, that was what I did. I'm like, do I really need another Austen book? And then, anyway, by the time people voted yes, it was already in my cart checked out.
You're like, it was already done. That was it was a question I already knew the answer to.
Well, I posted it, and then I did this little loop-de-loop where I was like, no, I'm just going to go back for this book. I'm just going to get it mine as well. I think it was $10. It was like, it was $8. So I was like, $8 for Jane Austen. That is fine.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Hi, puppy. I know your animals are so quiet, and then my little guys, making all the noise.
Mine are so old, they're just like, nope, we're good. We're good.
I know, if you ever think of something, though, you can tweet us. We have the Cozy Mystery Twitter, which I think I included the link for in the description box. We have the Cozy one. I was very active on that one today.
She was. I love it.
I'm glad. We've been picking up followers. The last, the Hallmark movies and mysteries, I was live tweeting those. And so I was, trying to have the account be active. So make sure you are following us there if you do like cozies. Try and keep that up to date. So if you do think of something, just let us know. Oh, The Night Circus. I love that book. It is a great book.
I haven't read it.
You haven't read it?
Mm-mm.
I will admit there's this, it's not even a secondary or tertiary. There's one storyline that, I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head. He's a reporter where it does work its way into the narrative, but it kind of feels extra, bogged down a few points. I mean, it's a very good book, though. I mean, crying, emotionally invested. The writing is just top notch. It's a great book.
Gotcha. Sounds awesome. So it looks like you've got a good book there, Jenna.
I was like, I don't know if it's on my bookshelf, but I think I actually might have done a video. Like one of my very first videos might have actually been that. I mean, very first webcam in my old apartment. Not really sure how to do my makeup type of video. Very first video. It's a really good book. It's fantasy. It's kind of got a Romeo and Juliet vibe going. It's really good with details. The dog. I mean, I love this. I just really love the details. They have like this. I'm trying to think how to phrase it. So he kind of has this order, and they have this way of life and things. And so this girl, they give these curses or whatever. And so he puts this ring on her finger, and the ring disappears into a tattoo. I mean, just random details like that. It's just and that's the entire book. I mean, they have things like that just one after another just really add up to give you this kind of magical, mystical experience. It's just a very well written book.
I like it.
See, your animals do make noise.
Oh no, that was Aaron moving something over there by the couch.
Hi, Aaron.
He waves hi.
I know, he's kind of your unofficial co-host. He's there, but we don't see him.
Always.
I hear you talk to him in the video. You'll say, "Oh, hi, Aaron." You'll wave at him sometimes.
Mm-hmm. He's pretty good partner. I like him.
You're like, I'll keep him. That's so cute. Oh no, so aside from Night Circus, any last final thoughts before we say goodnight, or as you yawn?
Sorry.
You're like, I'm ready for a good night.
Yeah, the past 2 nights I've been in bed by like 8:45. See? He agrees.
Every time you say something, he just barks for you. He doesn't do that for me. So I think it is a compliment.
Our next live is always the last Wednesday of the month. So it's the last Wednesday of the month, and it's always at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time or 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So the last Wednesday of September, let me see, is September 26th.
And it will be on your channel.
And it'll be on my channel. So if you're not subscribed to my channel, then subscribe to my channel. And if you're coming over from my channel, you need to subscribe to the beautiful Angela.
Oh, you're so sweet. I know, it's one of those, we want to make sure people know where to find us on which month. So it's really funny. I realized this last month where whenever it's one of my book choices, it's on your channel, and it's ever one of your book choices on my channel.
It cracks me up.
I think that's kind of funny. It's one of those, we really are co-hosts. It's one of those, it's very mutual. I think that's so cute. As the dog makes noises. So he's drinking out of the bottle cap, in case you're wondering what's going on.
Well, of course. But I think that, the next book is On What Grounds by Cleo Coyle. I'm pretty sure I typed it in there, but I can type it in again. On What Grounds
And I'll post that over on the Twitter and include the Amazon link as well as the Goodreads link. So if you guys want to add that to your Goodreads page, or you're going to look at either the Kindle or buy it off Amazon, you can do that.
It looks like this. It's On What Grounds. It's a coffee house mystery series, and it's got awesome recipes in it as well. And it's going to be super awesome. But if you guys just came in, if you want, you can always replay the live stream and go and watch and all of the chat and everything that we talked about with this month's book, and you know how much I loved it, and it was amazing.
I know. I think by you kind of gushing over it, I think my 3.5, 3.75 just became a solid 4. I think you kind of talked me into giving it a solid 4.
I try.
You lift my spirits. We're talking about Cozy Mystery Goodness. The more you talk about it, the more I'm like, oh yes, and yes to that point. So
I totally agree.
Like, I converted her to a 4-point star. Like, I will get her to 5.
Self 5.
Oh my gosh, you're so cute.
All right, guys. I think that I'm about to keel over from sleepiness.
I know, and at least the dog, he's being quiet, but I will have to go figure out what he wants. So yes. I know if you guys, so no last minute questions, thoughts, we're good?
I think we're good.
Good. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are so sweet. I love, it's always so much fun to talk about Cozy Mysteries with everybody, and it's so sweet to have people comment and participate and watch. It's just, you guys make me smile.
Yeah.
And you're so sweet. I mean, this is like when we get to talk and hang out, so I love it.
Yes, I love it too. I was so excited for this live stream. I was like, yes, it's going to be so much fun.
Well, I think I was kind of unsure because when you love the book, once you mentioned that, and I'm going, oh, I liked it. I didn't love it. And so I was kind of hesitant, like, I don't want to rain down on it. But now you kind of lifted me up, which I love. You made me more excited about it. I'm like, yes, now I actually kind of want to reread it. Not going to lie. Kind of want to do that.
It's a judgment-free zone. You can totally do that.
I might have to. 4.5, 5. We don't know. This could happen. We might have converted me fully. So, I get to spend time with you, which is so much fun. I love it. Yeah.
Good night, Miriam.
I know. So we're saying good night?
We are saying good night.
Night, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Bye.